Okay, let me turn the camera. I'll just turn around. You guys, I'm gonna sit down right here. Okay. All right. Now we're gonna get the information. Okay, go right ahead.
Okay, so Miss Julie's School of Beauty is specifically for people who have either experienced sex trafficking or who are considered to be at elevated risk. And there are a multitude of risk factors. The biggest one probably is just being a woman. 94% of sex trafficking victims are women or girls. So double that with something like living in poverty, experiencing homelessness, drug addiction. There are a number of them, but so we do look for students who have been in recovery for at least a year. And we got that advice from residents of Bright Star Community, which is a residential program for people exiting sex trafficking. So these are people who had that lived experience, and they said, you know, it takes like a year to get on to be ready for something that's that's this rigorous, that's this demanding.
That change.
Yes. So we look for people who have at least that year in recovery, a year away from, you know,
whatever it was,
addictions,
right?
And also for their safety too. If there's still a trafficker out there who's looking for this person, we don't want to put them in a fairly public space. We do, you know, take security precautions, but we don't want to make that happen too soon. So we look for that year out. And we do have social workers who evaluate and, you know, for eligibility, like do they qualify as being part of that population, and for readiness, and to make sure that the group dynamic is going to work. Right now we have our 2 student leaders, and they get along great, and they're fantastic. They're more than just students for us, because they are helping us figure out what changes might need to be made. They're helping us identify what we need to think about before we have 10 people trying to do it all at once, right? And they're bright and articulate, and they're so helpful. So I forget where I was with this.
No, something you had said earlier that fascinated me is you mentioned that when the individuals from here should transition into any type of environments, whatever it is, that you have assistance for those people to train those people that they go to how to get or create the best environment or support them as needed. I think, can you elaborate a little bit on it?
So we have a training program for salons where we can come in and we do trauma-informed workplace training. We do training to help them identify when they're looking at someone who's being sex trafficked or potentially, because the traffickers bring their, you know,
I want you to look good, right? I want you to look good. I want you to know how to put your makeup on.
And I mean, if you think about it, like, your hairdresser probably sees parts of your doctor doesn't, right? She's like in your scalp, and so there's lots of opportunities for hairdressers to really be on the front lines. So they get that training, the trauma-informed workplace training. We want to do some burnout prevention training with them. Some of this stuff is in development at this point. Because it is a high burnout field. There's a lot of turnover.
Yeah.
So we want people to, you know, have the skills to stay in their careers. Yeah. Right?
Because here's the thing. If you're not healed and you're dealing with so many different types of personalities, you have to really be grounded. It's not just enough to have a skill, because then that can
Yeah.
take you somewhere worse. You understand what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and you don't want to go through all of this. So it's amazing and great that you have all these resources for the people to succeed. You guys, I showed you in the previous videos of the environment, which makes you, when you walk, first of all, the location. It's not somewhere on an abandoned street or somewhere. It's in downtown, in an urban type of environment. So you're coming into something that feels, inviting.
Yes.
Then you're coming into where you're going to go, and it's not stagnant, it's not old, it's brand new. And just the ambiance, the aesthetics, you walk in with a crystal chandelier vibing at you. How can you feel depressed? You like, honey girl, listen, and you have a environment where the things that you have, where they, like I said, they can journal, they can paint, they have a village of someone that actually understands exactly what I'm feeling and what I'm going through, because we're here together. There's no judgment, there's just seeing value. And when a person can see that other people have put something into what they're presenting to them, that makes them feel heard, like it's not over. And what's the thing that's on the front door?
The past won't keep you from a beautiful future. That is our tagline. And we believe everyone deserves to have that future that fills them with hope and purpose.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Another piece of training that we do is financial literacy training.
Girl, wait, shut the front door.
Because
you want
you
people to
can't be
succeed.
stable
If you
unless
don't,
you can manage your money.
Thank you.
And especially if you think about people who have come out of a trafficking situation, money has been used to hurt them.
Right. So
been
I don't
financially
understand
abused.
the value of it, and actually it detests me. You understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Because it was used against me.
Yeah.
So I don't see the value in me really
It's
working to
uncomfortable
do
have money
right.
if it looks like a weapon to you.
Right.
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 So,
right.
so we
wow.
bring it not just to our students who
Do y'all hear that?
have
Rochester, New York, Rochester, New York. This lady's program is a program to help you succeed. The rest of Rochester programs, I'm going to tell the truth, because this keep it real, Moni. They're all designed to keep you stuck, because everybody get a paycheck off of you being broken. Nobody wants you to be whole, because they will not have a job. These people want you to be whole. This is why they got all these resources and all these intricate things to make sure you succeed. That is amazing. Oh my God.
But
Go ahead.
those nonprofit workers in these other organizations, they're burning out very quickly too. So we're bringing some of our training to them as well. But a lot of what causes that feeling of burnout, that depression, is that they don't see the people they're helping succeed, because there's this missing piece, right? You can, and this was why Julie got the idea for Miss Julie's School of Beauty, because she was working with clients. She's a social worker by training. And so she was working with clients who would do the work. They'd be in recovery, they'd be in a residential program, and then it was time for them to move on from the residential program.
Now what do I do?
They could not earn a real living.
Right.
They could flip burgers, they could, minimum wage jobs, because especially if they had a criminal background, they couldn't get a real job.
Exactly. Or a career.
Yeah. When you go for a cosmetology license, there is a background check that's done as part of that process. And the cosmetology board is willing to work with us. We have a lawyer. Julie was very smart, married one.
See,
years ago.
I knew, besides her pink, I'm telling you now,
Yeah.
out of all the
There's a lot
people
of
I've
smart
seen,
under the pink.
when I first seen that lady, I promise you, out of all the patriots that's in this building, I stopped her immediately, because I didn't know how much great things and how much of in common things that we had. I didn't know that, but I just knew, that's somebody you gotta connect to her, because there's some greatness there. And her hair was It was the signal for me. The fact that she was as tall as she was, because most tall people, most tall women, you slump or you try to disappear because you're so. No, she was tall with pink hair, honey. I said, well, Lord, I got to. Now I understand. Because the heart that she has is the same heart that I have, that I work with youth in my community that were involved in gangs. I wasn't a technical case manager, but being their youth advocate, I was a case manager, a mom, a auntie, whatever I needed to be, and my job was to make them be successful. So when you said your position, I was like, ooh, Karen, I love you, and no homo, I promise you, because that resonated something in my spirit, because that's what I've done my whole career, you know what I mean? So, go ahead, I'm sorry. It's okay, I'm gonna be quiet for the rest of the thing. Go ahead.
The nonprofit.
Wait, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
It's 10 minutes. Do you think we should do another one?
It's up